And let me let her know you can join if you wish, because I lost everybody. Just let me let her know. We just started. Okay. Hey, you can go. I just started because I lost everybody because I accidentally took everybody out and no one responded to the next email. I couldn't reach I couldn't reach anybody. Nobody answered phones or anything. But if you'd like to join us, you can because I've got Renee and LaShawn's join in shortly. But I want to go on and get started. I've already started the. Okay. All right. I'll start. Bye bye. Okay. All right. We are here and let's get to it. All right. All right. Hey, everybody. We're finally here up in two, one. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the SANTITA Jackson Show here on AM 950 Radio, the voice of progressive Minnesota. It is a joy to be with you as we talk about what it is that women in particular really want. I'm going to get to men. Don't worry about it here on AM 950 Radio. But something is happening when you remove affirmative action and DEI. The people who are hurt the most are white women because they benefited the most. And so now, when we see 319,000 Black women lose their jobs between February and July, that is a signal. It has been written that something really, really challenging is coming our way. I just left the Congressional Black Caucus weekend. Congressional Black Caucus was started by, about a dozen Black Caucus, members of the Congressional Black Caucus uh, in the post voting rights era. And of course, John Conyers of Michigan predates that just by a hair. Uh, you started seeing African Americans who had a progressive agenda. They were unapologetically progressive. They started getting elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, and it was an exciting thing to see. And you knew that they would be, as they had been called, the conscience of the Congress. If you were going to stand up for the poor, if you're going to stand up for public education, health care for all, uh, decent jobs with decent wages, prosperity wages for all, and that and more. A foreign policy that was not imperialistic, that was non interventionist, that was helping people, that was moving people forward. The Black Caucus could be depended upon for that. Things are a little bit more complex now because now you have 62 members, more than any at any time in American history. So there's been a lot of progress. Ah, but the interesting thing about the Black Caucus now is that a majority of those who are in the caucus do not represent majority Black districts. So they have interests that might not be as progressive, right? So there's a lot that we can talk about there with that. But what was interesting was this, that this Congressional Black Caucus weekend has grown into the place where you have several thousand people who come to Washington, D.C. to be a part of the Congressional Black Caucus. It's really a wonderful evening, and it really culminates in a gala that thousands, several thousand people attend. But throughout the week, you have different seminars. All of the members are having seminars on interests, on issues that are of great interest to them. And, Ilhan Omar had her seminars. Of course, uh, uh, Terry Sewell from Alabama, she had hers. Cleo Fields from Louisiana had his. Congressman Jonathan Jackson, Robin Kelly, on and on and on. Everybody had something. And so it was interesting to go to these seminars. Uh, that having said, you're in Washington. And sometimes when you're in Washington, many people say that inside the Beltway, and the Beltway literally is the Beltway that wraps around Washington, D.C., there's an inside the Beltway thinking. That is to say, it can be disconnected from ordinary people and their concerns down on the ground, right? And so, my question for you is, what is it that you are looking for? We are looking at issues that are global, that are local, and it seems that they have equal significance. When I say that, I mean that Gaza gets people as riled up and impassioned as electing someone to your local school board. ICE has everyone really, really riled up, but so do our local police. There's just a lot, and we're dealing with a lot at one time. And yet, the Pew Center says that when you talk to African Americans, and African Americans are the canaries in the mine, be very, very clear on that. When you talk to African Americans, when they look at corporate media, less than half the time are they covering issues that are of great import to us. And the reason Black people are called the canaries in the mine is because we are the ones who stand out. We are the only group in America that does not pass into whiteness. You can be a white Hispanic, you can be a white indigenous person, you can be a white anything except a white Black person, at least in terms of your ethnicity. And so that puts us in a very interesting and unique position. You know, I'm Christian. Jesus said, "That what you've done unto the least of these, you've done unto me." And that's where Black people find themselves. We find ourselves in that position just consistently. What doesn't make me sad about that is that it can also really put us in the driver's seat, because when we move things, everything gets better for everybody. Affirmative action helps everybody. Everybody. DEI helps everybody. And first and foremost, it helps white women. Both of those programs. I'm not mad about it. I think it's a great thing. You need more women, all women of every particular background in the workplace. And we need equal pay, which we do not have yet. So my question is today, what is it that you need? When you talk to Black people, racial justice is always at the top of the list. We just had a young boy, Trey Reed, found hanging from a tree at Delta State University. We hear that it was not a suicide. Although when you think of Mississippi and its really, really, really horrific history, racial history, even if this young man was in some kind of emotional trouble, if he did kill himself, which many of us do not believe, for him to hang himself in the middle of campus from a tree is a tremendous statement. It's a profound statement, but that's where we are right now. Indeed, we just got word that ICE will be sent here into Chicago. Uh, they will be military troops, not just ICE. That's about to happen like right now. And just as a side note, everybody, for all of those who are in Minneapolis, St. Paul, State Senator Fateh, who is the Democratic Socialist, who is the Democratic nominee. I will be interviewing him on Wednesday. So I hope you will tune in so you can hear his story. Because remember, he won over the sitting mayor of Minneapolis. Think about that. Think about that. And the Democrats still will not endorse him. The Democrats still don't want to endorse Mamdani, the choice of the people who say that they're in their party. How can you keep a party when you're doing that? Republicans did not like Trump. They do not like Trump. But guess what they did? They said, well, you all like him, so we're not going to fight that. We'll fight him once he gets in the House, which is what they've been doing ever since. So let's talk about that. And hey, Johnny Watson. Hey, Robert Lamont. How you doing? Like and share. Thank you so much, Evangelist Jackson. And Bernadette. Hey. Sending you all so much love. I want to know what you think the top issues are. I want to know what you think the top issues are. Aside from racial justice, you've got public education. They're about to eliminate the Department of Education. What about health care? What about a universal single-payer system? Indeed, health care costs whether they are absorbed by your job or you. Either way, you're paying for it. And even with the best of insurance, you could still go bankrupt. Indeed, that's the number one driver of bankruptcies in the United States today, your healthcare costs. You are an illness, and I mean an illness, a sustained illness away from going broke. Is that the way this is supposed to be when we've had permanent tax cuts for the wealthiest people in this country? Permanent. And yet the needs of the people are always up for the debate, are always up for debate. Think about that. So, what about that? Are you concerned about freedom of speech? And how free has our speech really been? Think about that. I'm so glad that Jimmy Kimmel is back on television, and I hope that they'll have a rethink about Stephen Colbert. That having been said, I know that if someone is stridently pro racial justice, if they're stridently pro Palestinian, they're not going to get that platform. The more we understood the progressive politics of Arsenio Hall, the closer he was to cancellation, and that is what happened. Think about that. How free are we really? Did Dr. King have freedom of speech? Was he really free to speak? What about Medgar? What? Dennis Kucinich was laughed out of the race when he talked about a Department of Peace. He could never get any time. It's not just a white-black thing, everybody. Oh, no. So I want to know what you think the issues are. The economy, the economy, the economy, the economy. How are you feeling? Do you feel more secure or less secure? I want to know what you're thinking, what your thinking is. And LaShawn, I'll bring you up when you get on camera. But let me start with Renee Criswell and Shapiro Wells. I'm so glad that they're with us, and Dr. LaShawn Latrice will be joining us shortly. But Renee, you are a retired public school teacher. Help me to understand um, what you think. And indeed, Solomon said, better make your immediate issue the government shutdown. Okay, because Trump is looking to fire 7,000 more federal workers. That means more black women firings. And you know what else it means? More white people are going to be fired. When you listen to Elon Musk and when you listen to Palantir, when you listen to these people, they want you to know that they feel that that AI can do your job better than you can. President Trump is the face of this, but he's not all there is to this. He's just the face of it. You need to look at Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. With Jeff Bezos, we have fewer businesses. After COVID, the neighborhood hardware store, can you find it? Think about it. So you let me know what you think the big issues are. Let me know, Robert. And you said the government shutdown, because you know what, the government shutdown, it could be a day, it could be a week, it could be weeks. So what does that mean? You're right. Well, are people going to be fired? Is that what this is really all about? These people have been trying to tell you that they want fewer people to do more work because they plan to make the machines, because they think the machines are smarter, better, more efficient. They cost less money. So you tell me. Renee Criswell, I'm going to unlock you. I'm getting a little bit of sound from you in the background, but that's okay. Talk to me. What's the biggest issue or the big issues as you see them?
Okay. Hi, and thanks for having me on, and hello to all of your morning stars. Um, I am very concerned about the cuts to healthcare. Um, I have a granddaughter. She's made it to be 20. She's my miracle grandbaby. She's relied on great hospital care since she was 1 day old. She's had heart surgeries. She has hydrocephalus. She's had brain surgeries, and she's benefited from the God guided hands of surgeons in Miami's Children's Hospital and now in Chicago at Lawrence Children's Hospital. When you start cutting services and cutting funding and cutting research for things like hydrocephalus and she has so many different diseases. I can't even name them all, Santita, so many different ailments. She and so many other children and adults rely on medical services and research to find cures, um, to help them with their ailments. And this administration has been cutting that. And if your health care is cut, even if you're perfectly healthy, you can have an accident. Anything can happen to you. And you might not be able to find a hospital to get care because some hospitals are closing because of the cuts. I'd rather have more funds going towards health care and less going towards building detention centers for immigrants and hiring ICE agents, many of whom seem to be terrorizing people. And when you have a Supreme Court that says that you can just look at a person and determine whether or not they are someone to be picked up because they might be illegal based on how they look or the language that they speak, that's scary. So that frightens me that so many of our protections are being dismantled. And Trump just cut money for Chicago public schools. He cut money to the magnet schools because our mayor didn't let him bully him into getting rid of a program that was to help black kids who, they equity, they need to get extra services so they can catch up, because they've done so much since we've been in this country to deny us the basic rights that we need and the basic um, education that we need. And he said he didn't cut the program, so Trump is cutting funding from Chicago. We need more money, not less money. We have so many issues. We need housing. We need money for housing, not cuts to housing, not cuts to public housing. We need more funding. Um, People need to have the dignity of having a place to call their own and to lay their heads down. We need help right now, and we're not getting the help that we need. And I am fearful about Gaza, or concerned about Gaza. What they're doing over there is not getting any better. And what you do to one group of people, you can turn around and do it to another group that you have disdain for. Um, those are a few of the things that are bothering me. You're muted.
Do you hear them discuss on the news these issues?
No, you know what? In um, the corporate media, very seldom do they discuss the things that I think that they should and that affect our community. They either ignore our needs, or when they discuss them, um, they don't discuss them fairly. For example, our mayor, in the corporate media, they are quick to talk about anything negative that happens in Chicago, but they don't talk about all of the successes that Mayor Johnson has had. They don't talk about the success he's had at lowering the violent crime rate, lowering the
Wait a
homicide
minute,
rate.
and why? Like
Well,
opening up these mental health clinics and giving,
mhm.
giving these young people meaningful work in the summertime so that they at least have some money coming, not just to them, but more often than not into their homes.
Hmm. They want to paint a negative picture.
Mhm.
There's always been this tendency in this country to make Black people look bad, to show us in negative images. There was the movie Hollywood Shuffle. I don't
Mhm.
know if you remember Robert Townsend's
Of
movie,
course I
but
do.
just
That's when I was in
it was so
college. It was
accurate.
great.
It was very accurate about how they try to portray us, not like we really are, but they try to put forth these negative, stereotypical images of us. And I think that's done an injustice to this country and to the world, because they look at these images and they view Black people, especially if they're not around a lot of Black people, they view us negatively because of the images they've been bombarded with about us, instead of showing true images. I wish that on the news I could tune in and see a positive story about Black people, our young Black people and their accomplishments. I wish that was a regular part of the news. What I do see is, if any negative thing happens, if there's a carjacking or if there's a shooting, even if the Black person is the victim, even if they're the victim of being shot by a policeman, they still give negative information about the victim. It's There's so much negativity about us. So I appreciate shows like your show, where you bring a lot of balance to what's going on, and facts. Give us the facts. If over the weekend we had what, two mass shootings, one at the church, and I can't think of where the other one was right now. I think they
Yeah,
were
the Mormon
in,
Church in Grand Blanc, Michigan.
mhm. Now,
Hmm.
you can be a white murderer and be treated more humanely than somebody who is a Black victim of a crime. They say a lot of times they'll say that maybe they had a mental illness, or they're suffering from the effects of being in the army, and serving time in a war zone. But you can have a traumatic experience and be Black, but they don't humanize you when they show you, in the media quite often. Trump called our children savages. So
Hmm.
when you can demonize a group of people, it makes it easy for you to come and do negative things to them or target them.
Hmm.
And that's
Okay,
got to.
well, that's okay. I mean, I mean, look, I mean, because but I love hearing you share this, because we think with greater depth than the corporate media give us credit for doing. We're more concerned with more issues than they give us credit for being. And I think it's important for us to really, really step back and talk about this, more than anything. Chaparral Wells, what's on your mind?
Thank you so much, Santita, for having me on. I was scrolling through my favorite place, which is TikTok World, the other day, and I ran across a video that stated this white man, he said that he told his children, if you ever get lost, go find a Black woman.
Mm,
And so they were like, why would you tell your child that? He said, because Black women will protect any child, no matter what race, color, or creed. They will make sure that that person is safe. If they're hungry, they will feed them, and they will take care of them. And I said all that to say this, Santita, because I have been advocating for the immigrants and the to have humane treatment, and I've been getting a lot of backlash because Black men feel that I am not as vocal, which I don't understand why they feel I'm not as vocal when it comes to police brutality, as well as Black unemployment, which I'm always advocating for all of these things as well. But in their perception and what I'm seeing as we go through this immigration issue is that there is a disconnect between Black women and Black men,
Mm.
and what we do as far as advocating. In the tradition of, I feel, my grandmother and my ancestors, we have always been taught, well, I've always been taught to be a nurturer, to be able to care and have compassion for others, no matter what their situation is. So I have compassion, and I could see how, because where I stay, is ground zero. We're in the Berwyn Cicero area, so I see the ICE raids up front and center. We see that that's happening blocks away from my house, right on the corner. We see all the protests. Broadview Black Site is probably less than 10 minutes away from my house. So we see firsthand what's happening. And when you see parents and children being ripped from their parents or abandoned as their parents are being taken away, that's a traumatic situation for me to watch, and also to imagine the trauma that is causing these children.
Mhm.
And so when I battle with black men online about why am I fighting for them, I ask them, um, where's your compassion? Who raised you? Because this, and I feel like, black women are also, as we are giving all the protection and the compassion, we are the less protected. So
Mhm.
what's important to me and what I was advocating for this weekend is for black men to support us. I feel like we out here trying to save the world, because literally the world is on the shoulders of black women, I feel. And I feel that black men, and I'm speaking to black men, not I want all men, but I'm speaking specifically to black men to come and help us, to support us, to take some of this burden off of us. And so I see that there is a lot of misogynistic views, a lot of they basically say that we're taking care of everybody else but home. But I want to publicly say that that's not true. Our nature is to take care of everyone. We
Mhm.
taking care of home first. We always take care of home first. But we're also needing people to understand that our position in the world is to be a caregiver and to take care of everyone. And so when we're advocating for needs and the rights of immigrants, when we're still advocating for justice and policing, we're still advocating for equity, for jobs, for our fair share, we are in these streets. Black women are in these streets, and we are advocating. When you think about the voting and who was pressing for a black VP, who was pressing these Democrats right now today, um to we're pressing the Democrats to back down, don't back down on this bill with the budget. We are pressing black men to do what's right. We're pressing white men to do what's right for humanity. Because if you take care of humanity, we feel if you take care of humanity, everything else will be lined up. What is the greatest fear is that black women or women in general are put in a place of power over this male um oligarchy. So because of the fact that they don't want to cede power to us, because they know that women in general will do the right thing by everyone. And if you amplify that with a black woman, it'll be even better, because generally it is in our position to do the right thing. And so I feel like, I was so stressed all weekend, just going through this and arguing online, and say, hey, I can advocate for immigrants, and I can also advocate for us too.
Mhm.
We have
San-
not stopped advocating for anyone.
mhm. Santita,
Yeah.
someone wrote in the chat that the medical cuts, the money for cuts was only for immigrants, but they cut $1 trillion in that big so-called beautiful bill that it will affect Medicare, Medicaid, and the Affordable Health Care Act subsidies. So it's
And
going
with
to affect more
and
than,
SNAP. And I'm
and
like,
SNAP. It's going to hurt a lot of people.
wait a
And
minute,
Not
who
but
will
only
that?
that, Renee,
but you
and
know
I want
what?
to.
Before I bring on LaShawn and let you finish your pearl, no one is talking about this black hole called the Pentagon budget. I mean, our money goes there.
Yeah.
You don't need Brahms, you need bread.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? We're not defending anything. We're offending people all over the world, and it's endangering all of us. When you
All
see
over.
all of these blackouts on our grid, do you really think you're going to see people in green outfits, green military wear, jumping across, running through our fields with guns? They're not fighting the wars this way now. They can shut you down with a flick of a switch, and you have no power. How would you
No.
like that? How would you make
Mm-hmm.
it with no power in America? Now, see,
Honey,
other countries know how to do this. We don't know how to do that. So, are you
mm-hmm.
serious?
But I wanted to say,
No, no,
Santita,
no, no.
that
Wait a minute, Solomon. I know we need the Pentagon to protect America, but you know what America can do to protect America? Be kind to the rest of the world.
mm-hmm.
True.
Take care of your own people.
Mm-hmm.
Seek justice. I mean, love mercy and walk humbly before thy God. We don't do that. We're known as the most violent country on earth. Dr. King said it, and it's still true. And I'm from the
They were
military
saying that.
on my mother's side. I mean, really? I mean, give me a break.
Mhm.
What are you talking about? You know, study war no more. That's what the Bible tells you. It doesn't say to be a warmonger. Blessed is the peacemaker. What are you
Mm-hmm.
talking about? I mean, I hear you, but that's not. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Mhm.
You
And
don't. You
Santita,
can't. Can you eat a bomb? Can you, Solomon?
mm-mm.
No. No, you can't. No, you can't. Do you need bread? Yes. And I tell you,
And we're
yes.
spreading
The,
violence
the,
in different
the
ways.
numbers have
Mhm.
shown that crime has gone down in Chicago. You have a man with a wife with 3 children who's had to go on the payment plan for his utilities. Because
Mhm.
even as he makes a nice living, he's like, look, it's tight. It's tough. And like my mother told me, she said, with each one of you, we couldn't afford any of you. She said, who do you want me to put back?
Mhm.
No, that's what she said. She said, well, so, okay. So am I supposed to put you back? Because she said, you know, we absolutely couldn't afford you, Santita. Jesse, Johnny, my parents had 3 kids in 2.5 years. Are you serious? She said, we didn't know any better. And they didn't. So, I mean, what are you talking about? So
We have a
now
mayor.
we see that Governor Pritzker says that President Trump, that the administration is seeking to deploy 100 troops to protect ICE in Chicago, in Illinois. Let me tell you, y'all, what they're doing is they're preparing a police state for everybody. They're preparing
Yeah.
to shut down. You like this show? I hope you do. Well, enjoy it while you can, because I'm here to tell you, they're shutting everything down and off. And if you don't fight to if you don't fight for the people with whom you disagree, that's why I tried to help you on this chat line, to be kind to each other. Because the person with whom you disagree the most, you need the most.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anything yet. No, we're watching it in real time. I just hope you know what you're watching, what you're looking at. So wait a minute, hold on. Let me get to you, Dr. LaShawn Latrice. I'm glad that you made it in to be with us today. So what are your thoughts? I mean, what is the big issue for you? What are the big issues for you?
Some of the big issues for me are just what you guys are talking about. When we talk about, oh, thank you for having me too. When you talk about what is going on around the country, when you have mental health illnesses that are not being addressed, centers have been closed. We have a very proactive mayor who has been boots on the ground and is aware of a lot of things that have been taking place over the years before he got in office. And so he's a little bit more radical with how he moves. But on the other side of the coin, I'm listening to you all talk about the affordabilities that we don't have anymore. People can't afford to go to the doctor, so they don't go. People, even those who might have a form of healthcare that is considered free, there may be copays. Those things stop people from getting treatment for things that could keep them alive, that could keep them a key part of the family. And due to the fact that those co-payments or the amounts that you have to pay beyond what insurance pays is so unaffordable right now. I just had an experience where I was talking to a young lady. She was in the dental office, and she was saying how she needed this work done, and she had this emergency with her mouth. And she said, I do have medical coverage, but it doesn't cover the part that they want me to pay. I said, well, how much are they asking you to pay? She said $570. So it was either pay the $570 and keep your front teeth, or don't pay and get them all pulled out. So look, I was typing on my laptop. I stopped because these kind of things bother me so bad. I said, do me a favor. When you go back in there with the doctors, tell them you are a candidate for hardship. You would like to know what hardship funds they have available for people like you who already have a form of medical coverage, but you do not have the means to pay the difference. Why is it that when Black people go to dental services, the first thing they do is want to take your teeth out instead of save them? And so I didn't know what happened. She went back there in the back, and I didn't see her anymore. So when I got in the car, I seen someone standing in my peripheral, and it was her. And I turned around and I said, did you say what I said? She said, they got me right. That's all I'm saying. They was about to take all her teeth out, and they didn't have to take her teeth out. And I was saying, you got to remember, we're always given the worst case scenario. So we're put, just like Chappelle said, we're put on the back end of everything. I told her, when I sit here, I'm a supporter of those who came from other countries, and we did what we had to do to try to take care of them. But how dare you push us out in the cold in the process? That doesn't make any sense at all. And that's what I was saying. A lot of these people who are in political positions to make change, many of them are just way too quiet. And you all know that bothers me too. Oh my God, to the core. I cannot understand how we are having these conversations and they're sitting in rooms talking about the next party. I mean, party, P-A-R-T-Y. They're not talking about the real issues that affect us. So you have the medical side, you have the trauma side, you have the lack of affordability of food and shelter. People can't even pay to live or pay to eat. So when I see what's going on in the world, it breaks my heart to see a family standing outside trying to get food. And a lot of times people think it's about money, but it's not. I've given food to people. They take your food. Mm-hmm. Trust and believe. It is rough out here right now for people. How can we afford to overlook? What about maternal health, Santita?
Wait a minute. Hold on, Dr. Latrice, and you're a psychologist. I don't want anyone to think that you are a physician, but you're in the healthcare space. So these are your peers.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking about maternal health. Maternal mortality in the United States for white, Black, brown, yellow, and red women is the worst in the industrialized world. White, Black, brown, yellow, and red women cannot afford to go to the doctor, Dr. Latrice. I mean, you talk about her and her teeth. People are not going for their prenatal checkups for the entirety of their pregnancies.
Absolutely.
Which is unfathomable to me. But guess what? If you can't afford it, Sandra just said that she had to pay a $500 deductible for an MRI. If you have an MRI, I promise you before the Lord, you need it. That's your heart. What are you supposed to do? And so when you're talking about the Pentagon, when you're paying thousands of dollars for widgets, you remember that from the 80s? I mean, no. And you don't need another war. You don't need another war. And here we're paying to kill children overseas. Are you serious? This money, and that's why more and more Americans are getting angrier. Because they're like, wait a minute, you talk about spending good money after bad. I can't eat a bomb. I can't put my teeth down, sink my teeth into that. I'm not going to even try. I like having my teeth. You know, so it's like, what are y'all talking about? The priorities are off. I mean, LaShawn, so what are you seeing in terms of mental health?
I'm seeing people who feel like they don't have an out. They don't have a way to even express what's going on. I was talking to groups of people over the weekend about the amount of death that they've seen, about the amount of job loss or lack of job availability, that people can't pay their bills because of the state of the world. The economy is hit right now. The price of houses, the price of renting, it's all through the roof. And what it sounds to me like, there is no outlet. No one has a clear way. They're now telling people that the new health insurance that's coming along is going to allow you not to be able to use your coverage to sit down with a therapist. People used to be able to use their medical coverage to see counselors, to see. Now that's going to be co-pays on top of co-pays, and it's going to get really expensive for people. So what that says to me is people will stop going. They're going to stop going. And just hearing what people feel like what's available and what's not available is sad right now, because they don't have the ability to be able to just sit down and be able to rationalize their thoughts with people, because they feel like people don't care. And the sad part is it impacts our community tremendously, because we've all been told that we don't need to see counselors anyway. We're okay. Just go to church and pray. You'll be all right.
Is
Come
that
on now.
crazy? Wait a minute, and I want to give special love to Abraham, my brother, my sweetie pie from Venezuela. He says, "Good evening to the Queen of International News." Bless your heart. He calls me Saint Jackson, but Santita is little saint in Spanish. There we go. The United States continues to threaten the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. That is true. And it is in the Caribbean Sea with 8 destroyers. You wanted to talk about this, Renee. We will. I promise you, I'm going to find some people to talk about this in the next day or so. 8 destroyers, a nuclear submarine. That's because we want their oil. That's all. They not only threaten Venezuela, but they will come for the rest later. I would say that peace, not only on the American continent, is in danger, but that a world war could break out, where the big losers will be the United States and its allies. I absolutely hear you. You got to be very, very careful, everybody. Where you've been is not where you might be headed. We have been the big dogs on the block for so long that we think that good times will never end. How many of you have gone back to your high school reunion or college reunion, and the the person most likely to succeed typically does not. The prettiest girl in the class avoids the reunion because she doesn't want you to see what she looks like now. Because life takes its toll, y'all. I'm not cracking on anybody. Am I lying? Could I get a witness? You know it's true. You know it's true. So, I mean, come on, everybody. Where you've been is not where you're going necessarily. Watch it. So, I mean, Chaparral, I know you sitting on something. What is it?
Yes, Santita. I wanted to say, first of all, I wanted to,
Do I know
when
her or
Renee
what?
when Renee was bringing up about the healthcare issue, we have to dispel these myths that are going around that immigrants are getting free healthcare and everything like that. That is not true. They You have to have a social security number to get food stamps as well as also medical care. Now, what they do is if they go to the emergency room with just like if you go in any other country, they will treat you. The children have Medicaid. The children get food stamps because they're U.S. citizens. So let's be clear when we hear J.D. Vance and all of them talking about, they want to crash the economy because we don't want immigrants to have health care. It's just lies. It's just pure lies. They have stripped Medicare. We know that right now that that starting next month, the Obamacare rates are going to triple, like go up by 75%. The monthly premiums for Obamacare is because they took all of that money out of the system in order to collapse it. Because they're not saying that you can't have Obamacare anymore. What they're saying is that you're no longer going to be able to afford health care. So now you're going to go to the situation where you're back going to the emergency room, where the emergency room is now going to be your first area of care. And I was just in Northwestern the other day, and it was probably about 80 people in the waiting room. So we're already seeing that these cuts have come down. These the prices have are starting to roll down, and you're going to see it in the next couple of months how this is going to impact many, many people here in America. And the thing is that for me, I would rather you keep these people healthy than to have people running around sick, spreading disease.
Wait a minute,
Could you
Chappelle, did we
imagine
not
if
learn that in COVID?
that's what I was gonna say, Santita. I mean, like literally, if we have another virus or outbreak like we did with COVID, and you have all these people. Remember, people had some type of health care back when COVID. But can you imagine how many people are gonna die if you don't have any access to health care? Because now people are not gonna go and get help, and they're gonna continue to die. And so we have to be very, uh, you know, um aware of the situation of what's happening. And then we think about the cause. I know y'all were talking about also the rising cost of utilities, and I just got a bill for my comment bill, and I'm sitting around here like, how in the hell can somebody come install some solar panels on this house, because my bill was $765 for 1 month. Now, mind you, my bill normally is like between 250 and 300, which is still a whole hell of a lot. But this month, it was $765. I mean, like, I ain't turned off nothing, apparently. But we see that they have this price gouging that is occurring in our public utilities, whether it be our electricity or our gas or our water bill. Everything is just going up, along with the price of food, along with the price of healthcare and childcare. Because when they made those cuts, it was like a ripple effect that went down the line. And that's what we're seeing. Like I'm appreciating Solomon and the correctional officer. Oh, these are people who are comfortable, and they can afford to say that, hey, it's okay. But wait till they roll down on y'all. I can't wait. That's why I told all the black men that I was I can't wait till they ship y'all to Sudan. Cause I'm gonna be the first one. I'm gonna get them when they start pulling the people up and rounding them up for Sudan. I'm sending them your address so they can come get you. I'm sending them a Solomon address so they can come get him. Cause all these people sitting up here supporting all these roundups, and they coming for you next, sir. You are not exempt. They taking the Mexicans first, but then you gonna be right around the corner, and they gonna pull your butt up too. And just give me your address, put it in the chat so I can make sure I send it to your house first, cause you ready to go. Cause y'all think fat meat ain't greasy. That's what I'm saying. It's greasy. Fat meat is greasy, and y'all gonna understand that it's rolling. It's a rolling effect. They just taking them in sections. But you next, because just like Stephen Miller said, he said, we only need about 100 million people in America. Where the
Okay.
rest of the 200 million people gonna go?
Wait a minute. Stop right there. See, because this is what people are saying. If you would just listen to them, when Bill Gates and Prince William and Prince Charles and all of these people, the brightest minds and the richest people in the room, continue to say, Dr. Latrice, Renee, unmute yourselves, my sisters, that there are too many people in the world. I'm not being conspiratorial. I'm simply saying to you, Chapearl, is that not what you heard?
That is exactly what, and he continues to say it. He is very clear about he wants 100 million pure white people in this world.
Well, then,
So if
well,
you're
no,
not
the
in
comfort
that,
is that means he got to go, because that's not
yeah.
what he is. That's not what he is. Like, wait a minute,
And
like
I don't know why
some
you
people.
correction officer. What I understood, a Jezebel was a loose woman. That's what I understood. A Jezebel was a loose woman, a prostitute. I know you ain't on here calling me no prostitute. I just know you ain't. So
Well,
be careful what you speak, because that is far from who I am. So, we have these, that's what I'm saying. You have these provocateurs that are on here on this chat, and they're trying to insult black women,
well,
calling us
and- but,
crockish
but let me
and
say
all this
this:
stuff.
what they're trying
No,
to do is bend the conversation away from the point.
from the
And let
truth,
me tell
from the
you,
truth.
yeah, and I want everybody, I want you to be here, but you're not helping the society as a whole when you don't tell the truth. Black women have fought for black men. And some of us are so misguided, black men and black women were fighting each other. And that's the plan. Because if we don't fight for each other and we're fighting with one another, then we will all lose. I could say that about white men and white women too. We need each other, period. So just stop. You don't need to insult someone. It's just disrespectful. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's unkind. And if you want to be unkind, this is not the place for you. And I want everyone to stay here, but you must stay here within certain boundaries. An unhinged Jezebel, don't buy into that. Correctional officer for the lockdown, don't do that. You're a father, you're a grandfather. You don't want anyone to talk about someone you love that way. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I want you to elevate this conversation. Don't decimate it. Don't denigrate it. If that's what you must do, then this is not the place for you. And I invite you to leave. We're not going to do that. I'm not that kind of woman. There's no truce. That's a non-negotiable.
Mm.
We're going to respect everyone. I'm not going to kick them off. They must leave. It's that simple. I'm not going to do that. I've seen enough unkindness in my life to not want to be unkind to anyone. And I've experienced enough kindness in my life to try to be as kind as I want to be. And I really try to respect people. My mother and I went to get our nails done a few days ago. And I said, my mother loves coffee from McDonald's. So I went down the street to McDonald's. I said, Mom, let me go and get some coffee. She said, fine. And I walked in, and as I walked in, Renee and Dr. Latrice and Chapearl, there was a woman standing outside. You could see that she had fallen on hard times. She said, could I have $1 or something? And she's standing at the McDonald's. I said, well, ma'am, do you want something to eat? And she looked at me and her eyes went back and forth. She said, oh, just a little something. I said, no, what do you want? Well, no, I said, no, what do you want? What do you want? And when I went in and got it for her, I asked the lady I said, would you put her food in a separate package? Because I didn't want to reach into the package and give her food. I don't want to take her dignity away. But to show you how the Lord works, I got an award from a group of Michigan businesswomen at the Congressional Black Caucus. I've done a lot of work up in Detroit, and I was so honored. And it was something that Lavonia Perryman, who's a regular on this show, something that she pushed for, and they all agreed. And I was touched, and I was clear that they were honoring not just people, my father, my mother, my whole family, and the work that we've tried to do down through the years. And I appreciated it. And Isaiah Thomas, the great Isaiah Thomas, Zeke, the bad boy from Chicago, was there. And I remembered, I threw out my remarks because when I saw him, I thought about his mother, who I knew, who was a legend. They even did a television movie about her during her lifetime, because she frightened the heavens out of these gang members, and they did not touch her children. She said, no, you're not going to play with me. But she was her son was playing a charity basketball game for Push Excel. And she pushed him to play as hard as he played during the season. Now, this was like a couple of weeks before the season began. So I said, we were like, wait a minute. Everybody, when they play these charity games, they don't go in all the way in, because you don't want to hurt yourself, because they'll take you out for the season. Miss Mary was having none of that. And he then reflected. He said, the reminiscences that you brought up, Santita, made me throw out my speech. He said, let me tell you something. You made me think of something. My mother worked hard. She didn't make a lot of money. And your father would come and bring food to the West Side every holiday season. And he would stand out there passing out hundreds, if not thousands, of bags of groceries. And when my mother and I got up there, he said, I was trying to hide because, the people in the neighborhood would tease you if you needed to stand in line and get some food. He said, but he leaned over to me. He said hello to my mother and said, how you doing? He said he gave her dignity. Everybody, let's do that. Correctional officer for the lockdown, I'm so glad that your granddaughter is doing well. But remember, when you say something about someone and when you interact with someone who interacts with someone on this chat, remember, somebody could have a grandchild too, or they could have a daughter or a son. And what you want to do is always be kind to people, because those blessings get passed on to your loved ones, or the unkindness that you pass on, that gets passed on to your children too. They say the sins of the father and the mother get passed on. That's what happens. So pardon me for staying on this point, but in this day and in this age, we have a lot of trolls here who are playing a lot of games. And what we're trying to do is have a conversation so that you can speak. That's all I want to do here. I don't get paid for this show, and I own it. But I do this for you because I want to have a space where you can talk and share. Corporate media doesn't really want to hear from you because they have their point. My point is to serve you. All I ask is that you be kind to people and be kind to everybody here. If you can't do that, then this is not the place for you. It's not. I will miss you, but you will be gone. So I want everyone to give us their closing thoughts. I promise you we will have this again, because I think we need to talk about the issues that are most important to us, because November 2026 is not when the big beautiful bill is going to hit. It's hitting us right now. Y'all, we got a problem. Abraham is right. We're threatening a world war, trying to take somebody else's oil, trying to take somebody else's stuff. That's not going to work. No, Solomon, just because we disagree, I'm not calling you a troll. I'm saying there are trolls out here. But what I'm asking you to do is be agreeable as you disagree. Do not be unkind. You don't have the space to do that here. Beloved, you don't have the space to do that here. Don't be unkind. Because if you're being unkind, you're violating the rules of the road here. And if you violate the rules of the road, I'll give you a warning. If I can see you to continue to do that, I've got to get you out of here. Because all I ask is that you be kind. That's all I'm asking. I'm asking you to be disrespectful. That's all I'm asking. And I don't think that's a whole lot to ask. And if it is, then rise up. And if it isn't, meet up with that. That's the standard here. And that's it. And I mean that. I mean it. Dr. LaShawn Latrice, your thoughts?
I just want to say this was a wonderful conversation, but it is very enlightening that we, for me, that we keep talking to people outside of this conversation and this platform, because as you can see, I can't see the comments, Santita. When you were reading them, I was trying to see what you were reading, but I couldn't see them as they were coming in. However, I see a couple of names that are always on there, and I see some people that I know from high school. I've never really acknowledged it, but I see a lot of the comments and things. I would just say this, similar to what Chappelle was saying, people should look at things as if they were going through situations like other people, and not necessarily saying that they have pulled themselves up by the bootstraps. I notice when we hear the rhetoric coming from the White House, it's often that frowned upon language where people are made to feel less than, or supposedly made to feel less than, like they should be able to accomplish what these people accomplish. But really, the playing field has never been leveled. And because of that, we have to make sure that even as our children get older and they go out into the world, they understand that they will have to fight a little harder, but there is a way that you can surpass these limited expectations by continuing to to lift your voice and echo the sentiments of those that came before us that fought for us. So this racial equity is real. The systemic racism is real. And sometimes it causes people to frown upon the lives of those who are less fortunate, but it could have been any one of us. Any of us could be outside asking for money outside of McDonald's. So I don't look at anybody like they're less than. I actually love those interactions because it is a more humanizing approach to what life really looks like when you look at it from the realm of humanity. So I would just like to say that I just want to continue to have these conversations and not necessarily be mean and upset with people, but at the same time, understand when someone does not know better and they may put out these insults, they may not know that's probably something that has been done to them. And we just have to realize that, of course, we're out here, Chapearl, Santita, Renee, we're out here having these conversations, but we're doing it for the good of man. We're doing it as unto the glory of God. So I just continue to fight the fight, and I just encourage you all, and I thank you all for allowing me to be part of this discussion.
Well, thank you. Renee Criswell, what's your thought?
Well, thank you for having me on. You know, Santita, I'm very quiet, but I've always loved a good debate where you debate ideas. And I think that's a great thing to be able to have conversations, honest conversations where we're sharing our own ideas and learning from one another. I know on the internet, you have a lot of, not here, you have a lot of influencers who are paid by wealthy people who don't necessarily have our best interest at heart. And they have people go on to be divisive and try to divide Black women from Black men, young people from old people, straight people from gay people, Black people from white people, just to benefit themselves. So I appreciate this platform where you let us share our ideas and where you let people in the chats, their comments be shown so that they can share their ideas as well. I went to the store the other day, Santita, and I bought some salmon from a big box store that pays their employees livable wages, and they have a union. That box store, I don't know if I can say the name, but that salmon had gone up to $43. It was $39 just about a month ago. It was $33 this time last year. Inflation in this age, Trump was supposed to lower the prices of things. Everything costs more. Healthcare, food, everything costs more. And we're going in the wrong direction, but we have to try to change that. And hopefully the people who we elected to stand up for us, hopefully they'll get a backbone and they can change the course of things. And hopefully we will not be going into World War III. I see Trump and Netanyahu just said they have a peace plan that they agreed with where they'll put Tony Blair in charge.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And Venezuela, people are being trained, regular civilians, so that they can protect themselves from the attacks that our government is launching over there. We have to be prayerful and we have to do what we can to make sure that we let our representatives know this is not what we want. And we have to get out in the streets and we have to fight to save this government and probably save this world from going down the wrong direction. And thanks
And
for
you
letting
know,
me
oh
vent.
no, look, I'm all for no, not vent. Just, I mean, you can vent. I'm fine with that. And Heather, I hear you and see you. Send me an email at Santita Jackson and Friends at Gmail. Because Heather, I don't even know you. And I see that you're running for governor. And typically, just because I see someone over here, I need to know who you are and you need to share with me. I don't just put people on the show. I'm very careful, Heather, about who. No, I don't know. I'm more conservative than you know. I don't care about you being a conservative. Honey, you're Black. That trumps all of that. I do not care whether you're conservative. I don't know where you all get this conservative. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I really don't. I don't care about that. If you have a heart to serve people, then I will talk with you. And even if you don't, I'll talk with you about that too. But don't come in here and come at me that way. Don't do that. And you come to me and say, you know what, I've tried to reach you several times on the chat line. That's not really the space to do that. But I've given you that email, the Santita Jackson and Friends Gmail at Gmail. Send me an email and let me know who you are. And we can go on from there. I appreciate that. Just know, everybody, when you come up on me, you come up on me the right way. I'm that girl. How about that part? Okay? Let's keep it right there. Let's keep it right there. Right there. Chapeau, what would you like to say?
I would like to first say, Santita, thank you again for having me on. And secondly, I'd like to say America is not broke. We just told Argentina we finna get them a bailout. So when you sitting up here cutting money from all the social programs and everything that Americans need, and you finna give billions to Argentina, I have a problem with that. And so you can't tell me that we can't afford something, and yet you're sending money to Israel, you're sending money to all over the world. To Argentina, you're giving the Pentagon more money that they haven't even asked for, and then you're stripping all the necessities from Americans. The only way that we're going to get out of this uh, problem that we're in right now, Santita, is actually through an economic boycott. I've been raising my voice to that for a while now. We're going to have to disinvest in spending and be real strategic on how we're spending, only getting the necessities, because they're trying to collapse us to make Americans fall and be impoverished.
Mhm.
But if we have to begin to collapse them. And so we see that Target has lost over $12 billion, and we saw ABC lost a couple of billion as well. We could do this, but we have to be united, and we have to do it strategically in order to make a valid point for them. Because the only thing that these type of people understand is money, and when they're losing money, it actually makes them act. So we have to begin to make them act with our economic dollars, and begin to do what is right in order for them to start working again for us. Thank you, Santita.
No, thank you. And I want to thank all of you for being here. And Heather, here on AM 950 Radio, the voice of progressive Minnesota, it's a joy to be with you, Heather. I want to thank you for reaching out. And you said you appreciate my comment and you did not mean any disrespect. I appreciate that because I don't think you meant any harm. But let me help you with something with politics and public life. And when you talk to people, you got to be careful how you speak to people. The care of delivery is very, very important, Heather. And when God puts you on the big stage, you take more hits than you give. As a matter of fact, you don't give hits, you take them. So be careful how you speak to people. The way you approach me, I hope you do not approach someone who you want to have vote for you. And I say that to you, my sister, just out of love, because I want you to do well. And let me tell you this also. The fact that you're a black conservative does not move me one bit. Let me say that again. Black conservatives do not move me one bit. And I'll tell you why. Black people are socially conservative. Now, see, conservative makes you sound a little elite. I know you don't mean any harm. I know you don't mean that. Makes you sound a little different than everybody else, but you're really not. Black folks we are the real conservatives up in here. We always have been. We've always been, up until recently, perceived and truly received, and people have understood that we've been the most moral. Like Chappelle started everything off by telling everybody here, you know what? If your child gets lost, or if your child's in trouble, they say find a black woman, because we're not going to abuse them. We don't do that. We don't play that. We don't. And so, being a conservative, It's a shorter line. It got you to the front of the line quicker. And I'm sure you believe what you believe, and your beliefs are deeply rooted. You hold them and you hold them dear. But that doesn't excite me. Doesn't I don't go ooh wee a black conservative. I go ooh wee when I hear someone who makes some good sense. That excites me. And you just said it has been a horrible road, and there's a link to a video of how you were treated by the Republican Party. Yeah, I'm sure you were treated horribly, and we're treated horribly by the Democrats as well. So the Republicans and the Democrats are two wings of the same bird. Get it? Somehow or another, with both of these wings flapping, we get in the same place. So don't think you were going to find some joy and some comfort over in the Republican Party. Even you can be a Republican. Ask the black MAGAs. They got over there and they messed around and they found out real quick. You're not an honorary anything, and that's not what you're doing, but it doesn't work like that. And if you're going to be in the power space, Heather, it's not going to be all wine and roses, okay? You're going to take hits. And you're going to get knocked down. You're going to get knocked down. And what you have to do is be tough enough to get up and tender enough to be kind when you get on your feet. Tender enough not to take revenge on anyone. Tough enough to take the hit. Tender enough, empathetic enough not to do to other people what's been done unto you. You be kind. Stay right there. Stay right there. So that's what I'm saying to you, okay? And I say that with all this love. And I can understand that you're a woman out here trying, a black woman out here trying. I get it. But watch how you approach everybody. Do that. And let this be like lesson 101. Because it might look like, I don't know how people perceive me and my family. That we've had it easy. People have been unkind as they could possibly be to us. My father's still an outsider in the Democratic Party. The first seat that he has had at a Democratic convention since 2004 was a seat in his wheelchair in 2024. Do you hear me? From 2004 to 2024, he could not get a seat at the Democratic convention, and he's responsible for a black president, a woman on the ticket, a black woman on the ticket, and all of that. And he keeps on smiling and keeps on trying to fight for you. We had black Republicans, young black Republicans for Jesse Jackson, fighting for you. I've been fighting for you too. So don't give me the conservative bit. Don't give me the Democratic bit, everybody. I don't want to hear it. I want to know how you're going to serve people. That's all I want to know. So just stay right there. So what I gave to you today was what I hope is a lesson in how to be kind to people. And a lesson in be careful what you say to folks. Be careful how you speak to people. Because beyond you're trying to get a vote from someone, you've been elevated even though the party's not treating you fairly. You've been elevated in a way where you can be an example for someone. Someone is going to see you, Heather, and they're going to say, I can do it too. And you owe it to that person, to that little girl, black, brown, yellow, or white, poor, rich. Well, you don't know what people are going through. You really don't. You owe it to that person or to that adult to give them the best that you can give them in that moment. I don't care what you believe as a conservative, as Solomon. I don't care. I really don't. You can be a conservative. I told you the label, I don't care about it. All I'm saying is Jesus would not take food off someone's table. Jesus would not turn someone down if they were sick. I'm telling you all the things that he did in his lifetime. He was feeding people. He was healing the sick. He was raising the dead. That's what he was doing. See, I'm on the Jesus train, okay? That's where I am. So if you're not doing it the way Jesus would do it, then doing it the way Jesus did it, if you're not doing it the way Jesus did it, then I do not want to be with you. I don't want to be bothered with that. I want to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, house the unhoused. I think that everybody deserves to live in a decent place. I think that everybody deserves an education system that will help them to actualize and become the person that God sent them here to be. Whatever your gift, whether it's artistic or academic or vocational, that's all I'm saying. Athletic, that's what I want. And there's enough money for that if you stop bombing everybody to death. If you need this much protection, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because if you need this much protection, then you ain't doing something right. If this many people dislike you and everybody is not looking at us and saying, oh my goodness, I just envy how Americans live. Most Americans are living, we're not living as well as we think. We're not living as well as we think. We're not as literate as we think. People don't even accept our modified foods. This garbage that we're served. I mean, are you kidding me? Get real. Does anyone watch HGTV and see when people go to these other countries and see the little teeny weeny boxes that they have to live in? Okay, I'm just saying Jesus was a freedom fighter who lived with the least of these. He said, that which you've done unto the least of these, you've also done unto me. That's the problem I got with Charlie Kirk, who felt that there was no such thing as empathy. I said, well, then you ain't no Christian. Because Jesus was empathetic. He said, that what you've done unto the least of me, I feel it. I feel it. So you've done it unto me. Wait a minute. So what are we talking about here? You cannot be Christian if you are not empathetic. You can't be. Conserve what? We ain't got nothing to conserve. You should conservative values. I'm with that. Yeah. But what I'm not going to do is take my values and impose them upon you. I'm not pro-abortion, Heather. But guess what? I'm not going to make a woman feel bad if she has one or if she has had one. Because I don't know what I don't know what she's going through. I don't know what she's been through. I found out one of my girlfriends, one of my best girlfriends in the world. One morning I picked up the New York Times, and you know who it is, Shapiro. It was Dr. Michelle Goodwin, one of the top health law experts in the world. I did not know that when she told me she'd emancipated herself from her family as a young teenager, that her father had incested her and she got pregnant. What right would I have to tell her that she should have had that child? Charlie Kirk said that. And now everybody's talking all over the internet about his wife because we don't know who she was. So you for real? I'm just saying, be careful, everybody. What are they saying? Hill Street Blues? Be careful out there. Be careful out there. Shapiro, you came back. What do you want to say to someone? Because you've been talking, you've been chatting away.
Santita, no, I've just been
No,
listening,
she
and
loves when I'm ranting. That's what it is.
I've actually been responding to some of the comments, and I love me a good back and forth,
Oh,
but I'm all good, Santita. Thank you.
okay, what do you want to say? Say it loud and please say it loud and proud.
No, I'm okay. No, I'm fine, Santita. Seriously, no, I think that what you're saying, and people don't know how your views are very. You were a Fox correspondent for I don't know how many years.
Not a
You know,
correspondent, but a political pundit.
a
Absolutely.
pundit, and
But no, I'm a progressive, and they
yeah.
appreciated that. But Roger Ailes said, you're a lot more conservative than people think. But that was what the problem that conservatives had with Reverend,
I
because if
think
you
black
look at
people
my
are more
father's history,
conservative.
absolutely. If you look at my father's history, the Republicans tried to get him. Well, what my father would not do is let you get away with not talking about racism, not talking about voting rights. See, that's my problem with conservatives. They play all these games, and then I can't talk about all the troubles I've seen. And you helped me get out of slavery for sure. But equality, well, then you had a problem with that. But the Democrats got a problem with that too.
Hell, we see how the Democrats moving right now. I mean, they still are not doing what they need to do in order to. I'm like, why, Hakeem? I believe, like, literally, I was going off on Hakeem the other day. Like, why are we fighting you and Chuck Schumer on Mandami? We should not be fighting you. We should not be fighting you on the representative that's running in Minnesota. Democrats should be supporting Democrats. This is why I can't get with y'all, because y'all sat up here and y'all are hurting yourself. Do you know what the optics of the division right now in the Democratic Party is that you're not good enough to be a Democrat. These people are elected. These are the chosen representatives that the people have supported. You should fall in line and support the nominees.
That's
And
right.
they don't understand that this is hurting them and it's making them look bad as well out here to the play. Why we got to sit up here and fight for y'all to do the right thing? That's why I was so upset. And then when Hakeem sat up there and supported a racist Charlie Kirk for a acknowledgement of his, nobody wanted Charlie Kirk to die the way that he died, but you cannot sit up here and say that this was a good man. This is a man who deserved these honors that they have bestowed upon him. No, he
And they're
does not deserve
lying on
any
him.
of it.
He believed in free speech. Huh? Oh, he went out and talked to everybody. What? He was this great Christian and he didn't believe in empathy? This is some new agey stuff. No, that's some new Jesus stuff. How about that part?
He believed in hate speech.
Yeah.
That's what he believed in. And that's what
And
he
but he did it with a smile. And
did.
Heather, what did you say?
And he did it
You're
with
not
the
that kind of
backing of money.
conservative. Look,
Yeah,
you don't, Heather.
Israeli
Heather.
money
With all due respect, you do not know me and
is
my.
not real.
You do not know me and my background. You don't know my family. You really don't know how I think. You don't. You assume. I mean, it's the funniest thing. When we introduced my father to the Democratic Convention in 1988, I talked to more people, big people in media and in business, and they said we were just shocked that your father had five well-spoken, bright kids, and they were so you all were so nice, and we would read back in the articles and see that you all were well mannered. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, many people would say, well, we've not seen a lot of that, even at my brother's prep school when he was signing his letter of intent. And the biggest names in the world have gone to this school. They said, this is a different kind of family. Number one, we're a real family. Okay? Dinner at 6. Now, a lot of folks who we did not hang around, because when we moved to our neighborhood, we had a lot of big black folks, a lot of big white folks who did very well. Not wealthy, but extremely, they done quite well. They didn't want us in our neighborhood, Heather, Dave, all y'all, Renee, Chapearl, LaShawn, because my father was this. He was number one. He had cast his lot with the poor, so he was not elite.
Right.
Okay, you mean you need to under you don't. I've not talked to you about the things that make me tick. You don't understand why I don't look at either party as a savior.
Right.
I don't. I don't buy into the conservative liberal labels. I let my liberal friends find out. They're like, wow, the white ones. They will say, you're a lot more conservative than I thought. I said, I don't know how you think I could be other than that. I am a black person who's a product of the church. But what I don't do is try to make you feel bad about however you have tried to live your life, unless you kill someone or abuse someone. Then that's a problem. But everybody's got a problem with that. Well, not everybody. Decent people who have problems with that. So I'm just saying, I hear you. So everybody, let's get over these labels, because
And
labels.
Solomon,
Yeah.
Solomon, Solomon keeps responding about Hakeem. I'm like, you have always stated to us, Santita, that this is a bipartisan betrayal, and I've been using that so much in my explanation because both parties have failed the American people. Neither
Yes.
party is working for the good of the country. Right now, we have a Supreme Court that is siding with reducing and removing, not even following the Constitution at this point. They basically told him that, yeah, these things may be illegal for you to do as president, but it's nothing we can do about it. So
Nothing.
we sitting up here thinking that we had checks and balances, and we ain't got nothing. And what I do understand, Solomon, is that what we're seeing here is a bipartisan betrayal because
Right.
neither party is moving the needle to protect the people. That's why we're in this circumstance, and they are right now collapsing this country on purpose. This
Mm-hmm.
country is going to collapse,
It's
and we
being
will
collapsed.
enter. Yeah, and we will
Right.
be entering a depression very soon. Very soon, we're going to be in a depression because they're already gearing us up for that. And I don't know how much of our money that's in the national treasury has been invested in crypto. I don't know. We know that they have access to everything, and they said that that's what they wanted to do, is to put our money into crypto. We might not even got no money in the bank.
And they're weakening protections for the money that we do have in the bank. So
Absolutely. And
somebody can
so
wipe you out.
yeah,
Hold
Mhm.
on and see. That's what I want to talk about. And Heather just said, she's left the Republican Party and she's an independent. Okay, that we can talk about that story because a lot of folks, more and more Americans are independent. Heather,
Mhm.
no, Trump did not support both of Reverend's campaigns. That's the biggest untruth going. Donald Trump, Citizen Trump, supported, and I give him all the credit in the world. And I have talked about this. Our Wall Street project. He was considering running for president on the Reform Party ticket. That was Ross Perot's party. Ross Perot was also a friend of ours. And quite frankly, in 92, I liked him. My brother Jonathan liked him. He was about to do something that was really, 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 because remember, he had become a real competitor during the primaries.
Mhm.
But he told us, hold on, because this could be, I need to get through this period because if these people come for me, I don't want them to come for you. Okay? So Donald Trump's politics have never been this right wing thing. That's never been his thing. He did not support Reverend's campaigns. He supported our Wall Street project while he was about to run for president. But my father's had relationships with everybody. When you see there is a wonderful video of Reverend walking into one of Trump's casinos. It was in 1988. I think it was in June of 1988. At the end of the campaign, Mike Tyson and Don King had invited my father to one of his fights. Donald Trump was gracious enough to receive Reverend, and he had him as his special guest as well. But Reverend was first Don King, Don King's guest, and Mike Tyson's guest. So he did not support his campaigns. No. Casey Kasem, the great DJ, supported his campaigns. Willie Nelson supported his campaigns. Hmm? Margot Kidder, Ned Beatty, Chris Christopherson, yep. Marla Gibbs, Bill and Camille Cosby. Had it not been for them, we couldn't have run because my father could not earn any money. And they said, look, I know you don't know this, but you're so far out here and we got you. If you want to give anybody credit, give it to them. They knew my parents had 5 kids in school. And they said, you shouldn't miss a beat. That's what Bill and Camille Cosby did. And that's before the Cosby Show. That was Percy Sutton. So no, Reverend was not sponsored into that campaign. We only raised about $3 million the first time. And that was made. We had Kentucky Fried Chicken buckets. We passed around these Kentucky Fried Chicken buckets at places all over the place. But we couldn't even pay. We could barely pay the staff. We couldn't even pay for cab fare. And we had a plane that was so patched up, it crashed and killed our whole crew. And in December of 1984, the plane was in such poor shape that after one trip, one particularly harrowing trip, the Secret Service said, Reverend, we cannot fly on this plane. You cannot fly on this plane. Everybody else can fly on this plane, but you cannot. Because when you get Secret Service protection, you have to sign a contract, and it is binding. And they're obligated to protect you, the candidate. That's it. But our whole crew was killed, all of them. So we didn't go riding around on Trump's plane or under his sponsorship. But even now, Reverend and President Trump are not personally hostile to each other. Politics does not work that way because politics is life, y'all. You don't walk around being nasty to people. I mean, you just don't do that. And you'll find that some of your greatest political allies can be some of the nastiest people to you. And some of your greatest opponents can be your best friends. And these opponents will come to you when they think someone's about to do you dirty. I've seen it happen in our own lives. So dispel that myth because that's not true. But that's why I don't have a personal axe to grind with President Trump. With his tremendous gifts, with his charisma, and whatever you say about him, he does have charisma. He has something that draws you in. My father said something that I think bears repeating. He said, I just wish he would use his charisma in a way that lifted people up. Charisma is a gift of the spirit, everybody. And I wish he would do that. I don't have time to dislike him or anybody. I don't have time for that. And you shouldn't have time for that either. Rise, everybody. Come on, let's get big together. Let's be big people. How about that? Just be kind. And let's save the country. Chaparral, you make the point. The country's not collapsing, it's being collapsed. They're unplugging everything. Why you got people saying that there's too many people in the world? Someone who is flagrantly antisocial and unkind, Stephen Miller, the deputy chief of staff at the White House. They've already told you that unplugging the healthcare system is going to cost us at least 50,000 people a year. I mean, we're going to kill them. And you haven't added in maternal mortality, which is killing women, black, brown, yellow, and red in the United States. You're not listening to the people who run the world who are saying that there are too many people in it.
Mm-hmm.
I told you my parents had 5 kids. My parents did not get comfortable until I was an adult. I didn't care. I just had, if my father lived till the end of the day, that was a good day. Thank you, Ice Cube. It was a very good day. Because he lived under the threat of assassination every day that I ever knew. From my conscious memory, from about 4 or 5 until lately. That's it. And even when he goes to the hospital, we're always watching because we don't want anyone to hurt him. Because there's some people who've been waiting a long time to get close to him, and we get it. And there's some other people who God sends who say, you talked to my mother in high school and you changed her life. Thank you. So I'm all good. God is standing by. God is watching. I'm all right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, we need to start thinking differently, y'all. And we need to start thinking in a way that's going to save us. For us. Because what we're doing right now is petty. And you can never, my father says, Chaparral and Renee and LaShawn, you can't be big and little at the same time. Now, if you're going to be big, you're going to be kind. You're going to think about someone other than yourself. Think about that. Haven't heard back from you, Solomon. Maybe that took a little air out the balloon. But no, he did not support Reverend's campaigns. No, because you had a response for that. No. But Reverend has not been hostile about Donald Trump at all. He has expressed disappointment that he is not the guy who he has come to know. Donald Trump has too many black friends who are decent people who I know, some of whom who are no longer with us, for me to ever look at him and go, ugh. No, these are people I respect. But he's playing a role. Everybody is. Everybody's playing a role. Just make sure you're not the nut roll. The problem is what we got right now is we are not in good shape. Y'all, we're not. We got some real problems. Chappelle said, I mean, our money's not really protected in our banks. And now when you go places, they don't want anything. They don't want your cash. What is that saying to you? If you try to pay for something in cash, well, no, we can't take cash. Legal tender? I mean, I want y'all to start thinking. Legal tender. They don't want your cash now. They just want you to be in a system that if it goes down, you can't get any food. If it goes down, you can't get any cash. If Elon Musk can ban you on X, what makes you think that the people can't ban you from getting close to your money? Why would you give somebody that kind of power over your life? Huh? Think about that. I'm just saying, everybody put on your thinking caps. Put them on. Put them on. What we're dealing with is serious out here. It's serious. And we're sitting around fighting each other. You're fighting over some migrants. They're indigenous to the Americas. We are not. Say what you will about Venezuela. Say what you Mexicans. This is their land. We stole it from them fair and square, y'all. Come on, you for real? They are indigenous people who speak Spanish. The light-skinned ones have been mixed with the Spaniards. But if you go deep into Mexico, they're darker than everybody on this panel. Come on. And what did you say, Dave? War can make money useless? These folks can make your money useless too. They can deny you access to any of it. And then you can't buy any food. And then you'll starve to death. I guess maybe that's what they want to do. I don't know. But think about that.
Hunger Games. Mm-hmm.
That's what it's turning into for all of us. Shapiro, what you about to say? I'm always nervous when she goes mute. I don't understand that.
No, I'm just reading these comments, Santita, and I just think that everybody, begins to understand what it is.
Hold that thought. I wanted to speak to Heather.
Okay.
She said, I'm getting ready to walk out on stage. I have to speak tonight at an event, but I wanted to say thank you so much, and I will email you tomorrow, and I hope that you get a chance to speak with you soon. FightLikeHill.com. Okay. And I want you, may the words of your mouth and the meditations of your heart be acceptable in thy sight. Oh Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. I hope that you say something that heals someone, that lifts someone, that gives someone some hope. Sometimes that's all people need, Heather. Give them the love in your heart. Don't give them the disappointment of your experiences. Give them what you hope to do and be, not what you fear that you might not become. Go on and be the best person that you can be. And you do that tonight. And you give that to the people. And if you're spent, then go home. But I pray that somebody will be blessed by something that you say tonight. And I can't wait to hear from you. God bless you. Go on, Heather, do your thing. So, Shapiro, Wait a minute, Dave Dowling, this is to your point. Did you hear what he said? Here in Canada, the government seized bank accounts during the Freedom Convoy protest a few years back. Did you know that happened?
Mm-mm.
Remember when the buses had their freedom convoys? Remember that? The government seized the bank accounts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay.
Wow.
Time to put the money back under the mattresses,
Come
like
on now.
Grandma said.
Yeah. And then when you go to the bank, you got to fill out papers and tell them why you are taking your money out the bank.
Ain't that something?
What? Come on, y'all. Come on. What? But what were you saying, Chaparral? I'm sorry.
No. I was just saying that, we
And wait a minute,
understand.
and you all gonna stay with me about 12 more minutes because we're gonna get this will be 2 shows. How about that? Wow. There we go.
Like I said, I'm watching as we're talking this looming shutdown. That's all they're talking about right now, Santita, is this impending shutdown. Vance has come out and said that it's going to be the Democrats' fault that everything is shut down. No, it's going to be your fault because you're trying to rob the poor in order to feed the rich, and we're not going for. I'll say shut it down. I said shut it down, all the way down. And because of the fact, if we gonna suffer, I want you to suffer with me.
What did you just say, Chaparral?
Let us all suffer together.
Oh, okay. Oh, bank accounts. Wait a minute. Uh, okay. Trudeau vows to freeze anti-mandate protesters' accounts. That was in 2022. That just happened. Frozen assets. It's called Canada's Emergencies Act. So these folks can take all of your money. Think about that, everybody. And think about as we are losing our freedoms. See, all of this stuff is tied up together. Tied up together. As they talk about freedom of speech, this is all we need to understand what is going on. Don't get caught up in these parties. That is not what this is about. It is not about the parties. It is about you're being a patriot and trying to save this country. I don't care where you are on the political spectrum. I don't care. That's why I told you can be a conservative. I don't care about that. However you label yourself, have at it. I love it. I love it. You like it. I love it. I don't care about that. I just want to know what you're going to do for people. Are you going to do right by people? That's all. That's all I care about. That's all. And that's all you ought to be trying to do. Because I'm telling you, we are in for, what did she say? Fasten your seatbelts. We're in for a bumpy ride. You all have you got to pay attention, Chaparral. You got to pay attention, Renee. You got to pay attention, LaShawn. They don't want you to learn how to read. They're putting AI on everything, which as a teacher, open your mic, Renee. As a teacher, when AI is doing everything for you, you don't do anything for yourself. What does it?
Right.
How does AI impact learning?
Well, it's going to cripple the students. Even before I retired, students were using computers more and more, especially since the pandemic. When they were at home with their computers, they didn't have to actually read stories and articles to themselves. It can be read to them on the computer. You don't have to think. You don't have to learn skills because everything is right there. It can be fed to you. A lot of high school students are using AI to write papers or to plagiarize papers or to have papers written for them. So they don't have to learn the skills of researching. They can just have something printed out for them. They're being cheated. We're being cheated. And plus, if they go towards having AI and computers doing lessons for students, you're taking away the human factor, the human touch, the compassion that a teacher can give you, the empathy, the help that they can give you, that even a pat on the
The
head or a pat on
relationship,
the shoulder. Mm-hmm.
the encouragement. I mean,
Right,
I
that's
think,
what I'm saying. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, when I think of my teachers, it was the little things that they would say to me that kept me going,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right, they're taking that away. Cold hard computer, and AI can be wrong. They can give you information that's not quite right. Um, we're going down the wrong path. We're going down the wrong path, and I think our students will suffer the most because
Hmm.
our poorer students, Black students, kids from a lower economic status, they're the ones that are going to be stuck with the computers the most and with AI the most, whereas other students who have means, they will have teachers and
Oh,
smaller class sizes, and
oh
they'll
yeah.
benefit human beings. Maybe you can supplement with AI with a computer, but that shouldn't be the main source of education. And I think that's where we're going, because have they ever really wanted everybody to learn? They didn't want poor people to learn. They didn't want Black kids to learn. So,
Well,
When I
Chappelle,
can I say
Chappelle,
something?
stop it. No, wait a minute, Chappelle, stop.
Okay.
No, no. Chappelle is uh, going. Chappelle,
How's it? Yeah.
Chappelle. I mean, and correctional officer for the lockdown. Stop it. Just stop.
Like I told you,
But
Santita, like I have a boiling point. I am a Capricorn. I'm very much a Capricorn, and I promise you, you have been warned. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Cause baby, I have retyped this sentence several times out of respect for Santita. Do not play with me. Just don't play with me.
well, I mean,
Enough.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
enough correctional officer.
But
Enough.
what you don't do is attack a woman's integrity.
Right.
Don't do that. With whatever issues you have with her, keep the issues where they are. Stay on the issues. Don't do
Yeah.
that. And
Probably one of
correct.
them little itty bitty,
Oh
No,
God.
no,
that's his point.
Chappelle, stop. So what we're going to do, because we're going to be the examples that we said. Now that we okay. So now, and correctional officer for the lockdown, stop it. Just stop. Chappelle's a real one, and so are you. Just stop it,
Equal, baby.
because gentlemen do not behave this way.
He looking for a subservient wife.
Well,
He looking for. I ain't never been that one. I always had a mouth and gonna always have a mouth.
and
So if you looking for
and
a
that's okay.
woman to shut up, you be messing with the wrong one, because I ain't the one.
Well,
I'm
and
gonna
we,
talk my
yeah,
stuff, and I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say.
no, it's
But
just like
some Black men can't handle strong women, and he
Wow.
proven that he one of them.
no, but that's okay. Like Shahrazad Ali, you remember her from back in the day? My mother said, she said, a man, if a woman's talking too much, I think she should just slap him. I mean, he should just slap her. And my mother said, "Oh, now you can look at her and see that no one's gonna slap her." So, as you can tell, I don't know what you did, but if you did something, be the gentleman, suck it up, and say you're sorry. I think I saw some different people. I can't keep up with what you all are saying in the chat and do the interviews, okay? Because I have to listen to people. But I saw Jezebel, I saw Sapphire, coming from different men, and you all need to stop that. You know what Jezebel and Sapphire means to Black women in particular. Don't do that. Don't do that. According to American law, Black men have had no rights that a white man was bound to respect, and a Black woman has had no virtue that was to be respected either. Just stop it. Keep the issues where they are. Yeah. Now,
Santita,
alpha, omega, I don't care what it is. Be respectful. Period. Your being in a fraternity does not mean that you merit any more respect than anyone else. Don't do that. Just be kind. And Dave Dowling in Canada said he apologizes for him. Sorry. Chappelle, say thank you, Dave. Chappelle, say thank you, Dave.
Thank you,
Chappelle,
Dave.
there you
Thank
go.
you, Dave.
Oh, yes, Renee.
Black teachers have been on the decline for a long time. But as a Black retired teacher, I can tell you that I encountered many, 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 many very intelligent Black students who excelled. So I don't know. One of your people wrote in the chat that with so many Black educators, why are kids doing so poorly?
Well, they've been
I
firing y'all.
they are.
They've been firing y'all. They've been
Oh
firing
yeah.
y'all. I mean, the fact is, they don't want. You know what? I had Dr. Joanne Brown. I mean, is that not Joanne Brown? I can't believe I'm slipping. They're looking to pass a law in the Illinois, named after Reverend Jackson, that would register high school seniors to vote. It turns out in the white areas of Chicago, the white students are taught civics, and they are offered the opportunity to register to vote. That does not exist on the south and west sides where Black kids are.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. What does that mean? These are the things that I'm going to bring her on. Now, when she comes on, I want you to come on because I introduced you all yesterday. We need to think about those things. But first of all, you need to know about those things. The reason I bring up Brandon Johnson is because we had him on Reverend Show yesterday, and he was sharing things with us that we did not know. Why crime was going down. So just everybody cool your jets. I'm going to get closing thoughts from everyone before we go. Renee, 1 minute.
Well, once again, thank you for this opportunity to be on here. You know,
We've said a lot.
we've said
We've said a lot.
a lot. We just have to make sure we're actually looking to see what facts are and not spreading propaganda and misinformation. We have to
Okay.
uplift each other. You know, we have to uplift our Black teachers, our Black preachers, we have to uplift each other. Let's
And
not tear each other.
lift up everybody. Renee, excuse me, LaShawn.
Yes. In the middle of you all's last discussion, I was trying to interject and say about the AI. I was saying that when I think about AI, I think it's a wonderful tool, but I also think that it's been created to dumb people down, because now what happens, everyone deems themselves an expert because they can just talk something and put it together, but it doesn't necessarily matriculate to knowledge. When you get in front of people, you can ask a computer to put something together all you want, but it takes away from what we would normally use brain wise with our study, with our, using the faculties that we've been given. And so I don't think that it will be a big advantage to the younger generation, because we had Cliff Notes, right? But our Cliff Notes only went so far.
Well, you better read that book.
Right. You had to read the book, because Cliff Notes, it left a whole lot of stuff out. It's like watching a movie versus reading a book. You're going to miss everything. You got to read the book.
Read the book.
So I was just saying that it's a sign of the times of how everybody wants all these microwave effects, and nobody's willing to put the work in.
And and how they don't want you to learn.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's
exactly what I'm closing thought.
My closing thought is we went back to the basics, and I think that that's what everybody needs to do. Go back to the basics. I literally just got a version of Hooked on Phonics for these kids because they're not learning the basics. They're not learning how to. I'm doing spelling tests at home, starting with weekly lists to help these kids get up to where we were at their ages. And then when we think about what they lost educationally during COVID, of 2 years being out of school, and how those fundamentals, foundations that they are just totally missing. And so what we're seeing is that we have to begin to invest in not only in our education and our healthcare, as well as also in training. So these are the things that we need to do for America all over, starting with the very young all the way up to the working class people. We need to do that. So we're hoping that that we need to get this all together, Santita, and I thank you so much for having us on tonight.
I love you all, and it has been very real. I love you. But I do love you. And you know what? I love even. I mean, I love it when we disagree, because I'm not looking for an echo chamber here. All I'm asking for, all I'm requiring, is respect. That's it. That might not be in vogue, but that's always in fashion and in season for me. So let's be respectful, and you can stay here, because I think that you all are a wonderful, wonderful group. I love you, correctional officer for the lockdown, Solomon, Sandra, Jewel, Andre, Bernadette, who's always on first, Dave up there in Canada, Abraham in Venezuela. Tell everybody in Venezuela to come on and look at the show, because we love you down there. And my father got the highest award that Venezuela can give to a person, and he was honored by the country. President Maduro gave the ultimate eulogy, but my father was the last person before President Maduro to eulogize President Chavez. Such is their respect for our movement and what we've been trying to do over here. So think about that, everybody. Come on, y'all. Let's just. No, I'm not self-destructing the show just because I won't bring on Chicago Flips Red. I will when I feel there's a need for it. But a lot of these people, I don't care about you being red or blue, because I think all of that's a joke. Poor people do parties.
Yeah.
Powerful people don't even do that, Solomon. They don't care about that. And these people are flipping red. I don't understand what all that's about. I understand that people are going to different parties and looking for different answers. I get it. And that's great. I think it's a great thing. I think people should be independent. I don't think you should be I don't think if you don't want to be in a
Right.
party, you should be in one. But
Right.
the issue is this for me. You can't tell me. You can suggest to me who should be on the show, but I'm not just going to have someone on the show because they are conservative, quote unquote, and it will be performative. I'm not going to do that. I will bring people on the show who can bring something to the show and bring something to you. I know it's not your business, it's show business on one part, on one level. I get that. But I'm not going to just bring people on here for a clown show. And if people who, like you, you were under the misimpression that Trump, and I've heard it over and over again, that he endorsed Reverend's campaigns. If he endorsed Reverend's campaigns, we wouldn't have had the money problems we had. We didn't have money problems. We just didn't have a lot of it. So I get it.
Right.
I'm not into a performative show. I don't care about that. So many of you just want to hear Jesse Jackson's daughter get into it with a Republican, or have them get into it with me and let it go viral. You keep that. I don't have time for that. That for me, you can have that, because I'm clear on where that's going. And these people who typically come up with that, who come at me with that, are so ill-informed, even to the point, and I don't use this term often, they are ignorant, because they don't even know our struggle. They don't even know how we got here. They don't know the battles that we've had to fight. They don't know how close we were to Chuck Percy, who was a Republican. They don't know that. They don't know how close we were to Richard Ogilvie, who was a Republican governor when I was a child. Because they were decent to us, and we could work with them. And you don't even know that part. You don't remember that part. So I don't want to get into all of that. If someone is going to bring something to the show that will lift you up, then great. But I've got some Republicans who will be coming on the show. Trust me. I don't mind that. But these are all people who will bring a substantive conversation to this show. Otherwise, I don't have time for that. I spend too much time getting prepared for the show every day. I sleep on average 2 to 4 hours a day, because I am the staff person on the show. That's it. All y'all know you get texts from me at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and I keep on going. Sometimes you see me almost falling asleep here because I am tired. So I'm just saying, if it's going to be substantive, I'm here for it. If it's not, I don't have time. Got to go someplace else for that. And still you rise. That's right. Black manhood. It's all good. It's all good. And the black and the first black man you should be proud of is your father, your grandfather, and the people in the neighborhood who just loved you and wanted to make sure you were all right. So that's it. So there we go. So I love you all. It has been great. Oh boy, the show started off one way, and now guess what? You never know. Man plans, God laughs. This is not the show I planned today, but this is the show that God had for you. Be quiet, your pearl. Don't say another word. I love you, Dr. LaShawn Latrice, so she can say something about how crazy you are, Chapearl. And Renee Criswell, retired teacher, school mistress Renee. And I am Santita Jackson, loving all of you with all of my heart. I will see you tomorrow. And on Wednesday, we're going to have a mayoral candidate, State Senator Omar Fateh, who, like Mamdani up in New York, won the primary going away, but the Democrats will not endorse him, even though he beat the Democrat.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, no, no, no. I want him to come on, and I'm so glad he is going to come on, and he's going to explain how he ran, why he ran, what he stands for, what a democratic socialist is, and what he hopes to do as mayor of Minneapolis. I cannot wait to have that conversation with him. And I cannot wait to be with you tomorrow. I love you all with all of my heart, with my whole heart. Just know that. May God bless you. AM 950 Radio, the voice of progressive Minnesota. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Love you, everybody.